Hey guys, welcome back to Comic Sam's. Got a bit of a different video here today. Different format, different subject matter. Just entirely different. We're going to talk about the inspiration for my Dungeons & Dragons campaign that I'm currently writing. Or not necessarily the campaign, like the world in general. And a few, quests and stuff. We've got my thematic inspiration. We've got mechanical inspiration. And then we're going to have my mindset kind of stuff, the mood, stuff that doesn't necessarily directly impact the game, but it, it's this put me in the mindset that I was in when I was writing this stuff, or this is some of what I was thinking about or listening to. This is music I was listening to get you in the right kind of mood, if that's your thing. So we're going to start off with thematic inspiration. And we've got Lord of the Rings was a big inspiration, of course. It's a big inspiration for most people. And that inspired the White Banner Horse Lords that I'm going to have. Obviously, those are kind of similar. They're basically the same as the Rohirrim from Lord of the Rings. Or from Tolkien's work in general. The Rangers of the Dunedain Rangers basically they inspired my Blackthorn Rangers in terms of NPCs and stuff. Maybe not organizational use, but at least in terms of perception and how they're who's involved. Sorry. And then Lord of the Rings just got me into this whole fantasy setting stuff in the first place. So that was a very big part. Next little thematic inspiration, we have the Ranger's Apprentice books by John Flanagan, and these are really good books. I mean, I know they're technically young adult fantasy novels or whatever, but they're still really good. I'd highly recommend them. But definitely the first one, The Ruins of Gorlin, and I'll try to put a picture of one of the covers up. That also heavily inspired the Blackthorn Rangers, both in-game symbolism for them, their mannerisms, how they identify themselves, their elite archers. This more affects their use. They're elite archers and scout type people given specific sectors to patrol in their the area that they control. Each ranger or team of rangers is given a specific area that is theirs to keep under wraps. And there's a little surprise that I have waiting for my players that I don't want to get into, but it was inspired by some stuff from these books. And then some more thematic inspiration. Past campaigns that I've played in were a big part. The Rainbow Kin and one of their signature artifacts was inspired by my first DM's player, my first DM, a guy named Noah, a really, really great guy. Probably the best DM I've ever played with. When he was a player character and not the DM, one of the first characters, and I think his main character that I remember him using the most, inspired the Rainbow Kin. That character's name was Dazzle, a very flamboyant type of person. Although he was a bard, he wasn't a thief, so that part was my own thing. But name, I came up with the Rainbow Kin name, I think. Yeah. And then some other magical items and relics and stuff have been inspired by friends that I've played with, or magical items that they were given. I'm like, hey, do you remember which item this character got in this campaign? And they're like, yeah, it was this thing with these stats or about these stats. So some of those are gonna come back up if my players are in the right places at the right time, and we have like the right, people for it. Because I'm not going to, use a broadsword if we don't have any fighters or anything like that. If we just have a bunch of mages. But, some old items that I've seen in my personal stuff, I'll, spruce up a little, and I'm using it for this. Some of my old PCs that I've played with in past campaigns personally will appear as NPCs. Very minor NPCs. Like, I'm not going to do a DM PC thing, because that's scummy. I also have too much work to do. I have too much work to also be a player. I don't know how people do that. That's a story for another time. Anyway, we move on to mechanical inspiration. We've got a lot of YouTube channels that really gave me ideas on how to run games, got me over my anxiety about being a DM, and gave me ideas on things to do, people to have, stuff like that. Matthew Colville's Running the Game series. He's got something like 55 videos or something like that, over 50 videos at this point. They're all really good, and even some of the stuff that's not in his Running the Game series, that really helped me got over a lot of stuff. He also has a new book. He and some other people are worked on a crowdfunding campaign for a book that I might buy eventually and use in this. So there's that influence, that inspiration. WebDM has been a big part, specifically their downtime activities video and the various enemy videos that they do. Like their video on liches was a big inspiration for something I plan on doing, or something I had planned at one point. I don't know if I'm still going to do that, but the point still stands. They've given me ideas. Taking 20, that entire channel, really good, highly recommend. XP to Level 3, another really good channel. Their whole deal. They're actually going to inspire another video that I make. That'll be coming up. Just some really fun guys. And GM tips on Geek and Sundry with Matthew Mercer and Satine Phoenix, I want to say. Yeah, Satine Phoenix. All have been really big inspirations, mechanically and also kind of mentally, just getting me over the anxiety. Like, oh, it's not that hard. You just gotta, have a general idea. You're not gonna die. You just gotta, take a breath and plan a little. And then Mount and Blade Warband inspired the gameplay aspect of my campaign. I was having trouble coming up with like a main conflict, and I didn't want to force my players like, hey, go deal with this guy, he's gonna end the world in like 6 months, beat him up before that. So I'm like, at this point I have the world set up, I have everything set up, I just don't have I don't have a goal for you to start working towards right now. And so I asked my players, do you want like a main story, or do you want to just be dropped in the world and to make your own stories? And it seems like they voted for the sandboxy kind of dropped in the world to make your own future type of campaign that Mount and Blade Warband I think does really well. Like, there is a goal in that game. It's to reunify the kingdom. But you don't have to do that. You can fight for a kingdom that's already there. You can start your own kingdom. You can just be a merchant. You can be a bandit. You can do whatever. Same thing I'm going for with my players here. You don't have to kill the big baddie. You can become a bad guy if you want. You can start like a mafia. You can start a business. You can start an adventuring guild. You can do nothing. You can just be like guys that kill rat. You can be an extermination crew basically for like the entire game. I don't care as long as you're having fun. So that's the mechanical and the thematic inspirations and whatnot. And then we've got mindset, the mood, the music, and this stuff. The Lord of the Rings soundtrack, again, obviously huge part. Like, whenever I was struggling with writer's block, I would just pop on some of these tunes, and if it didn't give me ideas, or if it didn't like, free me up, it would just calm me down a little. And even if I didn't necessarily get right back into writing something, it would work towards freeing up my mental space. So we've got the Struts, specifically Kiss This, Could Have Been Me, Put Your Money on Me, stuff like that. We've got the Killers, The Man, I Can't Stay Human, stuff like that. I have all these songs in a playlist, I think, or I'll have that linked in the description, so check down there. We've got Royal Republic, Full Steam Space Machine, and Tommy Gun, both really good songs. Five Iron Frenzy, My Evil Plan to Save the World, and Get Your Riot Gear. So if that tells you where I'm going, then boy do you know. That's gonna be fun. And then Chris Ray-Gun makes a lot of good music, and he makes other stuff too. He hasn't done music in a while, but his Rise Against covers and his original songs have always kind of calmed me down, freed up my mind, and got me working again. It doesn't always work, but this is just, this is what worked for me. This is what got me into stuff. And if you're interested to, read up on some of the books, or watch movies or whatever that I mentioned, you can do that. If you want to watch some of the YouTube channels, I'll try to remember to link to all of them in the description. I'll have the playlist. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So this is what inspired me. If you're playing in my campaign, I hope you watch this. If you're not playing in my campaign and you're watching this, then you know what got me going. So, good for that. This has been good, guys. Make sure to, share this video if you want. And I'll let you go. Bye.